Hi, this is Stacy with Lily Bean Crafts by Stacy. Welcome back. And if it's your first time, thanks for stopping by. So today I'm going to take you through and show you exactly how I made this really cute gingerbread tumbler. I made this for a friend of mine, so it's super fun. It is a split. The beginning of the tutorial, I am going to show you step by step exactly how to do the vinyl process and the glittering for somebody that is a beginner. Once I have that done, then I'll go ahead and I'll show you exactly how I finished up the rest of this, which is a little bit more advanced, but anybody can do it. I will have all of the products that I used listed in the description, along with any discount codes. So let's go ahead and get this little guy started. Thanks so much. So I am starting this tutorial with a 24-ounce plump that I got from the Tipsy Magnolia, and I'm just kind of showing you what I use. Some of my spinners are just cheap ones from Amazon, so I just bought this little football that I used from the dollar store, and then just put the stick for holding it on the tumbler. I put that together. I just went in with 220 grit sandpaper, sanded it down really good, and then I just took some Dawn dish soap and washed it, and now I'm cleaning it off, and now it is all cleaned and prepped and ready for me to start working with the vinyl. The first thing that I'm going to do is take a tape measure and just bring it around just to see exactly how wide the tumbler is around, and then I'm going to make this into a split. So I'm just going to measure off half of it to make it a little bit easier for me when I am cutting the vinyl. So I got this really cute vinyl and the decal from Custom Designs by Shell. She is on Etsy. I will go ahead and I will have that linked in the description. I bought this a couple months ago when she released it. I just thought it was so much fun, and I knew that I was eventually going to do something with it. And so I have this nice little vinyl cutter here, and I just went and I taped off, or I measured off where I wanted it to be, and then now I'm cutting it. Then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of see how I want from top to bottom. When I'm doing a split, it's easier for me to just have it already measured to the size I want it to be. So you just want to make sure that you don't have it all the way up to the top of the rim. You want to give yourself a little bit of space for the epoxy to go. And then I like to do the same thing at the bottom. I do not like to have it go all the way down to the bottom. So I brought it up about a ½ an inch from there, and then I went ahead and cut it. Now I'm just going back to my measuring lines, and everything has been cut to the right size, so I don't have to worry about it being off center and things like that. I am going to use the hinge method to apply this, so I'm just going to just peel off a little bit on the side here, and then I'm going to just take some scissors and cut this and then get it lined up, and then we will go ahead and get this applied. Like I said, since I already cut it to the right size, I know that it's gonna fit all the way around. So I just put that one small piece on that for the hinge method, and then I'm just going to take my time, and I'm using my fingers here, but I also have a really large squeegee that I can use, and I'm just going to very slowly run my hands over this and push out any bubbles and get this so that it is properly set, so that there won't be any gaps when I go ahead to epoxy. It always likes to give me a little bit of trouble on this back side. I did not want to cut this part out. I wanted to show you that you just have to take your time, smooth it out, and you can get rid of any little pieces or gaps or things like that. And an X-Acto knife is your friend on this situation. If you have any bubbles, feel free to pop them. They come out really, really easily. And then when it comes to the edges, I am going to be putting some decals on there and some lines. So it's going to be covering up anything that's directly on the edge anyways. Okay, so now that I have the vinyl applied, I am just going to take some of my painter's tape. This is like a 2-inch thick painter's tape here, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this where all of the vinyl is. This is going to make it so that it's protected when I take it outside and spray paint it. And I'll even trim out the bottom of it with an X-Acto knife, because I'm going to be applying some glitter down at the bottom. So I'll make sure that's all taped off so that that can all get done as well. Now that it's all taped off, I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it. I used Brownie Point from Color Shot Spray Paint. I put it off to the side. I let it dry completely. And then I'm going to go in with my glitter glue. And I did use this little brush from the dollar store. It is my favorite brush to use. I just clean it off when I'm done, and then it lasts several different uses. So once I get this glitter glue on, I'm going to take my time to make sure that I get it fully coated. You want to make sure that your brush strokes go straight up and down. Even though you don't really see the brush strokes, if anything goes awry, you could see them. So I always like to just make sure that I have everything really clean. And then I'm going to go in with Cold Brew with Peachy Olive Glitters for this brown glitter. I absolutely love this color. Like I said, I got it around the front of the tumbler too, where the vinyl is, and I also got it down on the bottom. So once I have this done, I'm going to go ahead and put this off to the side and let it dry for 4 hours. Once it's dry, I'm going to go back in with my with another coat of my glitter glue here, get this all completely sealed. With doing a vinyl on the other side, you want to make sure that you have this all sealed in really good, because stragglers of glitter just happen. So if you could try to prevent it, that is the best thing that you can do. So once I have this all coated, I'm going to put it off to the side. First, take off the tape, then put it off to the side and let it completely dry, and then we'll go ahead and get that epoxy going. I'm going to let this glitter glue dry for 4 hours, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the first coat of epoxy on. I am using the brand new Fast Set from Flynn Sisters Boutique. I'm going to use 20 mLs, so I'm going to do 10 mLs of part A and 10 mLs of part B. I personally like to put them in 2 separate cups to make sure that they are exactly measured out, and then I'll go ahead and mix them together. I've been doing this for almost 6 years now, and I've always done it this way, and I just prefer to do it the way that I know that I'm not gonna mess up my epoxy. Once I have that measured out correctly, I'm gonna go ahead and get it over from one cup to the other and get it combined. I do like to use these little metal stir sticks. I just get them from Amazon. And then I'm going to go ahead and slowly mix this for about 3 minutes until it is completely clear. You don't want any of the striations from mixing the two together. You'll be able to see them. It'll be cloudy at first, and then it will start to clear out. You want to go nice and slow with it because you want to make sure that you don't have any bubbles. And then once it's all ready, you have about 20 minutes to get it applied to anything that you're using this on. So like I said, I'm just taking my time here to really show you the process of how I mix it up nice and slowly, checking it to make sure that it's all clear and mixed together, and then I'll just clean off my little stir stick and then go ahead and get this applied. I always just use a regular glove that I apply it with. And then once I have it done with this particular style, when I am doing a vinyl, I like to go ahead and put the epoxy on the vinyl part first. No matter how much I seal the glitter, I have little pieces that want to go and stick to the vinyl, and I'm trying to keep this as clean as possible. So I do take just a second, I turn my spinner off, and then I do that first, and then I'm going to start going over it on the glitter parts, and that's where it's going to need a little bit more of the epoxy because the glitter is going to soak it in. So I'm just going to go ahead, and then once I have that done, then I kind of just test the waters of putting my glove over the vinyl too, and I didn't really have anything that was sticking to it, so I felt pretty confident with then just checking everything. Now, when you're epoxying a tumbler, it is really important to know that you are going to touch every inch of that tumbler. You want to make sure that you run your fingers over every part that you have put the epoxy on to make sure that it's smooth, has good coverage, and then you want to take a torch and pop any bubbles. I'm going to be applying a second coat of epoxy, but I just wanted to show you, this is after one coat. I'm going to take my 220 grit piece of sandpaper. I'm going to go ahead and sand down all of the glitter, and then I'll get this cleaned off with some Dawn dish soap, and then I will go ahead and get it back on my spinner and get another 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy mixed up, and we'll go ahead and get a second coat on so that it smooths this out, and then we can start working with the next steps. I also wanted to show you that even though it is all like white from me sanding it, that completely goes away as soon as you put another coat of epoxy on here. There are times when that won't happen, but it is generally going to work out just fine when you are sanding it, cleaning it, and putting another coat of epoxy on. Now, if I did this and I put a decal on it and then went to epoxy it that was clear, you would be able to see the scratches through it. And if you spray painted over it and then cleaned it off, you would see the scratches over that. So, but generally, you have no problem with sanding your tumblers and then getting another coat of epoxy on there and having it look exactly the way that you want it to. I put that on, I made sure I had full coverage, I'm popping the bubbles, and I'm gonna let that spin for 4 hours, and now we are going on for the rest of the tumbler. And I'm just gonna go ahead and re-tape off all of my vinyl because I'm going to be adding a second layer of glitter on here, and I just wanna make sure that none of it gets onto there. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Not spray painting or anything like that. I'm just going in with my glitter glue. I'm going to go ahead and get this fully covered, making sure it's straight up and down. And then I am going to take Noelle from Rae Creations, and I'm going to go ahead and do the waterfall effect. So I just put a little bit on the rim on the bottom and then the top, and then I tip the tumbler and just let it just sprinkle down. I wanted some of the brown to show, and then I put that off to the side. I let that dry for 4 hours, and now I'm going in with another coat of my glitter glue, and then I'm going to do the exact same process with the epoxying. I will need 2 more coats of epoxy here, so I'm going in with 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy. I let that spin for about 2.5 hours, and then I'm going to go directly in with another 10 mLs right over that and let it completely dry, and then we're going to go ahead and get the decal work done. And on my Cricut, I just went ahead and I cut out some stripes. I'm using the same red vinyl that I used on the tumbler that I worked on last week. It's kind of like got like a prism look to it. I cut that out for the backside, and then I went over with just white, making this line a little bit smaller so that you can still see the red behind it. I just like to clean up all of my lines. It just looks so much nicer. I'm also going to go ahead and do the bottom just to clean everything up and have it look really, really nice for the person that is going to be owning it. Going to take my X-Acto knife and cut it and have it all nice and set. And then one little trick that I like to do is I like to take clear nail polish and just put a little bit where there's a chance of any of the decal lines like pulling up or anything like that. I just want to make sure it's all down there. Now I'm just measuring out exactly where I should put this little guy. He is a removable decal, so if it gets messed up, you can remove him, but he's real tender, so I didn't want to really take a chance with it. So I did just mark out where I wanted him to be. I applied him, made sure that there was no bubbles, and now I decided to go ahead and make an SVG that says "Oh snap," because just having him is cute, but having something with it, I felt like it needed something. I'll go ahead and link in the description the font that I used with this, and I used the exact same red vinyl that I used for the outlines, and the same white permanent vinyl. And what I did was I did an offset with it. If you have a Cricut, then with the offset, I set it at 0.035. And then I'm just going ahead and weeding it out and getting them applied together. And then I'll use my transfer tape to apply it to the tumbler. Like I said at the beginning, I am making this tumbler for a good friend of mine, so we thought it would be super funny for her to put a middle finger on the bottom of it to have it be flipping people off. I mean, it does say "Oh snap." It is a gingerbread that has lost his mind, so this just seemed so funny to go along with it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go in with my final coats of epoxy. I'm going in with 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy. I will let this completely dry for, I would say 5 or 6 hours until it's completely dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and sand it down and go in with my final 10 mLs of the new Artist Cure resin from Flynn Sisters and let that spin for about 10 to 12 hours until it is completely done. And when it's done, the final product looks so adorable. I just love how it all came together. This was not my plan. I had a different plan. It didn't work out, but that's a story for another day. And if you like this tutorial, please hit that like and subscribe button. And I will see everybody again next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.